So this year, our school goals are making sure that our meaningful assessments drive meaningful instruction. We want to make sure that 70% of our students are meeting their MAPS and CAS assessment data. We're making sure that every student has at least 3 data points in English and math for teachers to analyze throughout the year, because we know that the only way to drive meaningful instruction is making sure that we know on a consistent basis what our students are learning and what they need to know and improve on. And then by the end of the trimester, each teacher will analyze that data and discuss 3 specific strategies to implement and improve classroom instruction. Our social emotional goal is making sure that our students really demonstrate proficiency in persevering relentlessly and caring deeply. And we're making sure that we create assessments to ensure that our students really understand what that looks like, not only at school, but within their community and their personal lives as well. Our innovation and student engagement goal. We are making sure that all of our students are participating in at least one design thinking cross-curricular project throughout the year. And that includes also our immersion students, creating UDL lessons, STEAM, and design thinking by the end of the year. And in our partnerships and parent education, this is really the first year that our parents are able to be on campus 100%. So we want to provide as many opportunities for our parents to be on campus and really be a part of our students' education. So goal 1, when you look at our CASP results, these are our CASP results from 21-22. And as you can see, a little over 40% of our students met and exceeded their ELA goals, and about 23% in mathematics. And last week we had an opportunity to really go deep into looking at what was our plan to make sure that those data points grew this year. When we were looking at all of the other schools and really focusing on what they were doing, a lot of them focused on their data points and making sure that their students reached their growth proficiency on MAPS. And so after our meeting, we went back and looked to see what was our students' goals and what were they doing to create to make sure that they met those growth projections. We found out that 57% of our 6th and 7th graders actually did meet their growth projection in fall 2022 when they took MAPS this year. So compared from fall 2021 to fall 2022, 57% of our 6th and 7th graders and 54% of our 8th graders actually did meet their growth projection. We want to make sure that at least 10% of that afterwards are meeting their winter projections as well. So we're hoping when we run this data in the winter, we will be up at 70%. And we're doing a lot of things to make sure that we put in place to ensure that our students are meeting those goals. In math, even though 6th and 7th grade did not meet their projected target growth with 47% and 45% of students meeting that projection growth, 61% of our 8th graders actually did meet their target growth projection from 21 to 22.
Right. Hi, everyone. So I'm going to be talking about our EL students and all the work that's being done at TDS in order to support this group of students. We have the wonderful Ms. Herrera, who is our EL coordinator, and she has been providing not only our support of teaching our EL students, but also building a culture of support amongst all staff, making sure that all of us together, we're cheering on our students, we're motivating and making sure that they get the support in each and every one of their classes. And so in order to do that, Ms. Herrera has been working collaboratively with all of our teachers, making sure that everyone understands what it takes for our students to reclassify. And it really is our motivator to make sure that once they leave TDS, they leave reclassified and ready to take on the challenges of high school. And so in addition to that, we want to make sure that we're transparent with our students. So we don't just work with this group, we work alongside them. We bring them along in their journey. We share with them the scores, what it takes to make sure that they meet the necessary criteria to reclassify. Ms. Herrera meets with all of the teachers to let them know what is happening in her class and how they can build out that support into all the different classrooms. And of course, you might see us one day, if a student comes along that we know is close to reclassifying, we will stop, we will cheer them on. We'll say, hey, you're so close. Let's make sure we keep working hard and let us know if you need anything. And that happens from everyone on our campus, thanks to the work that's being done. And just so that you can get an idea of how the level of detail that is put into this effort, you can see here just how deep into the data Ms. Herrera and our teachers are looking into when it comes to our ELD students. We understand that there are right now 62 students. We break it down into who is in the level 1. And just so you can get an idea, there are 7 languages in that one classroom for our level 1. That includes 13 English language learners who are newcomers that have maybe not even ever been in a formal school setting here or in their country of provenance. So that just shows you just the amount of work that is being put in. And then also we have our level 2 that have moved on and developed their skills and language development, as well as our 3rd and 4th levels. And we even take a closer look. These are our students. We, of course, can't identify, but we have 1, 2, 3 7th graders and 2 8th graders already that have met the LPAC overall score of 4. The next step is that they need to meet the NWEA reading maps test score. So we are close, and you will definitely see us cheering on, and hopefully next time we meet, we can share that all of these students have met the reclassification criteria.
So goal 1, meaningful assessments that drive meaningful instructions. When we look at a goal, we need to make sure that we have lead measures that are leading up to that goal to ensure that we stay on track to meet that goal. So our lead measures for goal 1 is at least once per trimester, students will engage in argument and constructing explanations and supporting them with sufficient evidence and reasoning. We understand that English, of course, they have a lot of standards, but we want to make sure that as a team, a collective team, no matter what content area you're teaching, we are focusing on one specific standard, and that's argument and being able to have a claim and support that claim with valid evidence and reasoning. We truly believe that not only if the English teacher is working on this, but the science teacher, the history teacher, the math teacher, the PE teacher, and the elective teachers, then our students will really get into the habit of understanding what a claim is, what it looks like in all of those different areas, and we'll be able to transfer that information. Our second lead measure is making sure that our students are analyzing that data and looking for patterns of evidence and explanation and argument. And all of our awesome science teachers are doing that through Open SciEd. And so our students are really getting an understanding of what an explanation is and how evidence changes over time, depending on what they're understanding. And then our lead measure 3 is teachers will utilize the PLC process to review that student data in order to address gaps. So this week, English gave their first performance task. 2 weeks ago, math gave their first performance task. And so we're providing them pull-out time for them to be able to grade and norm and be able to have conversations about who met the standard, what we need to reteach, who needs more help, and then coming up with a solid plan in order to put that together. And also being able to talk to our grade level teams about what we're going to implement and when to be able to help those students out who need extra help, and also what we're going to do to celebrate our students who actually made growth. So this is an example of how we have claims and evidence and what it looks like in 2 different classes. So our English classes are using RACES in order to analyze text. And so they create a claim, and then they're using the RACES steps to be able to cite evidence and be able to understand what that looks like and be able to explain your evidence through your answers. On the next side, it talks about CER. and that is claims, evidence, and reasoning. And so our science teachers will be able to make that connection with their students and let them know that CER, what they're doing in science class, is the same exact thing as race is what they're doing in English and history. And so our students are able to use either pattern in either class to be able to analyze text. Goal 2, persevering relentlessly and caring deeply.
Yes, so we also want to make sure that in our goal to persevere relentlessly and caring deeply, it really means that we're helping our students build their skills and how to persevere in any kind of challenging situation, and also care deeply about themselves, about their school community, and their community overall. And so in order for us to do that, we have taken these 3 actions, and we're going to be working on these throughout the school year. So we're good. Our lead measure 1 is for students, they will be guided through a reflection, which will include a weekly journal entry where they can self-monitor and really look at their goals. So as I mentioned earlier, just making sure that whatever goal they set, that is not just, I decided that I'm going to do this, but also what are the steps, and really taking them through that process of goal setting and achieving their goals. And we are also once a month developing surveys and counselor created SEL lessons that go along with those survey responses. And those surveys have questions of, do you feel supported? Do you need help with assignments? And just getting an overall sense of how our students are doing, and just getting a sense of where they are at throughout the school year. And then our lead measure 2, we want to make sure that our electives and PE teachers are helping our students and completing a school community project that demonstrates the LUSD profile, caring deeply, or persevering relentlessly. And this will be evaluated based on students' self-reflection for each elective project. For lead measure 3, during grade level PLC meetings, staff will ensure they are all coming to the table with at least 2 strategies to be able to problem solve any type of classroom behavior or procedures. And this is work that we continuously do. We meet with our teachers, making sure that we're able to come up with some solutions on how to best support them with any kind of situation that may be taking place in the classroom, because we always want to make sure that we go back to learning, be able to support and spend our time on instruction and supporting them in developing. And there we go. So for crew, there we go. And crew is where we utilize our time in order to build in these actions that I just mentioned. In crew, we're working as a small community within our school community. It's amazing work that's getting done in there. Our awesome Mrs. Rink is developing these lessons and to get to know each other, to get to know themselves, and how to be someone that can build their school community to become a better place. And we've been able to tie in a lot of different activities that go along with these lessons. They've done cards to the military as a thank you, and just connecting with our community. We also have tied in our college and career. So that's something big that we want to be able to connect for our students. It's not just coming to school, it's coming to school for what reason? What are we going to see ourselves doing in the future? And so even through our crew, we have intentionally built in getting to know more about colleges. And so each crew has adopted a college, and they get to learn more about it, and they also get to represent, and then they do a lot of competitions amongst each college. So we're also building in all these different pieces to build their knowledge, their attitude, and then their skills that will help them in not just now in getting to know themselves and contributing to their community, but also what they're going to grow into and what path they're going to decide to take. And with us to talk a little bit more about crew and the impact that it has for them, we have 2 of our amazing students. We have Joaquin Aragon and Serena Bezek. Come on up. Yes.
Good evening, I'm Joaquin. I am the president of TDS's Associative Student Body.
I am Serena Bezic, the secretary of TDS ASB.
And today we're going to be talking to you about what is crew and what we do.
Crew is a class taken twice a week. The purpose of Crew is to engage students in several lessons about communication, collaboration, academic and personal goal setting, and taking responsibility.
Crew is a good opportunity to overcome any personal obstacles that may be interfering with the academic or personal life, such as speaking to a crowd, participating, and keeping your classwork up to date. Crew also encourages students to seek fulfillment in following their passions and hobbies.
Teamwork and collaboration is a major aspect of Crew as well. Each trimester, every Crew class competes in several activities or Crew challenges in order to win points. The Crew class with the most points at the end of the trimester wins a prize.
We at ASB host several different opportunities to earn Crew points. There are team-based critical thinking activities that require all members of your crew. Students can play games at lunch individually, representing their class to earn points. We also hold dress-up days twice a month. It is up to your class to dress accordingly.
Crew is a very important part of TDS. It's what makes school fun and relevant to all students. Thank you all for listening.
As we say in TDS, every student, every day. Thank you.
Another part that we have incorporated in our schedule is WIN. This is our second year doing WIN, and last year it was a part of Crew, but in looking at and analyzing our data from last year, we realized that in order to get the impact that we needed from WIN, it needed to be more specific and more structured. So this summer, we spent a lot of time looking at our CAST data, looking at our maps in NWEA maps data from at least 2 years, and we placed students in specific WIN classes that really focused on whatever intervention they needed. So if we had students who scored below basic in math in their CAS and also had a low or far below basic score in their MAPS, then they were placed into a math intervention class with a math teacher so that they can be able to really analyze their data, look at what they need, and be able to fill in those gaps during the WIN time. We also have Ms. Hinkie, who is our loss mitigation teacher. So just in case if we had students who scored low in ELA and math, they would be able to take, say, a math WIN and then still be able to get that ELA support with Ms. Hinkie. So all of our interventions are extremely targeted and really making sure that we focus on what our students need. We also provide EL support during WIN. So all of our EL students are either with Ms. Herrera or Ms. Castaneda or Ms. Gonzalez, who are our Spanish immersion teachers. And they are having an opportunity to practice vocabulary development, allowing opportunities to speak and participate in read alouds and discuss their writing skills. And we've also purchased Lexia and Power Up. So they're not only using it in their EL class, but they also have extra time to use it in their WIN class as well. For our CUF students, our students who are almost at proficiency level, we spend a lot of time goal setting and looking at data analysis with them, looking at what strategies they need to focus on in order to get them over the hump. And we have targeted interventions to increase those specific issues in their content standards and skills that are going to help them increase their score to proficient. And then for our advanced students, we were able to develop a debate club and math Olympians and also cybersecurity through mathematical concepts to allow them to continue to have fun. When we reached out to parents, one of the things that they said about WIN last year is, okay, so what about our students who are already placing advanced? What do we do for them? Well, we decided to create these classes because we want to make sure that we keep them engaged, that they're still practicing, and that they're able to compete with some other students outside of TDS to really show their skills. So goal 3 are cross-curricular projects. The reason why we focus so much on cross-curricular design thinking and now our career pathways is because we know that our world is ever changing. And so what we're preparing our students now are for jobs that probably don't even exist yet. And so we're making sure in those design thinking projects that we're teaching them all the foundations of those skills. And we're trying to make sure that we create as many career pathways as possible so our students understand everything that's out there. In our world, we went to a CTE conference last month, and some of the things they talked about was the 4-year degree will no longer be seen as the default post-secondary education option. When we look at CTE is growing, and we know that a lot of students now are looking at other pathways, mainly because of either student loans or because, say, community college is free, or there's other careers that are out there that really offer more opportunities. faster and when at a younger age. And so that lifelong learning will become the norm, but a lot of students are looking for other pathways, and we need to make sure that we provide that for them. The reason why we do a lot of design thinking though is because no matter whatever pathway they choose, they're going to have to learn those 5 C's. No matter what employer you go to, you're going to have to communicate, be a critical thinker, collaborate with people, be creative, and be able to work with people who might not look like you or have the same beliefs. And that's that cross-cultural awareness. So that is what we're really focusing on in our design thinking and our cross-curricular designs. So when we look at our lead measures, we're making sure that all of our students participate in those cross-curricular projects, and they understand that even though they're projects, they still focus on content matter. And we're focusing on science and engineering practices. We're focusing again on argument and evidence, and our students have to show those skills through their projects, while their projects are actually still making some type of impact in their community or their home. Our next lead measure is by May 2023, TDS will have at least 2 specific established college career pathways and an established pathway elective. So right now we're working with our elective teachers to actually create pathway curriculum to be able to offer that classroom, that class next year. And then we're also looking at a military college pathway. We're working with LCAP to see for them to be able to establish that as well. So our students can start in a middle school and be able to have a pathway towards LCAP. We're also focusing on cybersecurity pathway at LCAP through our Project Lead the Way program. And then teachers will meet after the completion of those cross-curricular projects to make sure that we're doing everything we need to do to keep our students focused. These are our cross-curricular projects that we're focused on. Our 8th grade students actually went to iFly today, and they had an amazing time learning about contact forces. All of our cross-curricular projects are grounded in science. And so science is the foundation of all of our cross-curricular projects. From there, we look at what phenomena they're working on, and then we pick our novels and our books, and then we go from there to make sure that everyone understands and our students understand the whole purpose of their cross-curricular project. And these are just some examples of contact forces and the projects that our students created. This is also our trip for the Museum of Tolerance before the pandemic, but we're actually going back again this year. And then this is their trip to iFly. Our college and career pathways, we're looking at working with California Cadet Corps starting in January. Our teacher, Mr. Robbins, who's former military, is actually being trained next week to be able to start that class. We're looking at creating a broadcasting pathway through our KTDS, gardening and green pathway, and working with LCAP's floral department to be able to create that. We're looking at information systems pathway through our coding, our app design, and cybersecurity, and then creating a pathway elective class through our labor market information. And that's basically all the sectors that exist outside. We're hoping to have, basically there's 10 sectors, and so covering a sector a month and being able to provide students with field trips, guest speakers of each sector, so they can really choose what they want to go into when they get into high school. Our electives and clubs, we are growing. We started a recycling club this year, along with immersion, band, Project Lead the Way, gardening, percussion, drama, immersion. If I missed anybody, I'm sorry. Mr. Nguyen has already competed this year, and we won the Create Award in our first VEX robotics competition. Last year, we made it to the county, and we're hoping to make it to state and hopefully go to nationals. He's doing some amazing work with our Lego and VEX robotics teams, and we are up to probably about 36 students in the class and growing. And so he works on weekends and just does amazing work with our students. He also hosted a girl-powered event on October 15th. We invited all of our 4th through 8th graders in Lakeside to come, and he had women guest speakers from all different fields come into TDS and talk to our students about STEAM and the reason why we need women in STEAM and engineering, and how awesome it is to have girl power in these different electives. We also have our amazing Kim Klinko, who won the Sustainable Earth Educator Award this year. She is doing amazing things along with Mr. Tupper on recycling, and we are going to definitely be competing for that green ribbon and making sure that our school becomes a green school. We do a lot of work with money. So if anybody knows me personally, I am a couponer, but we do a lot of work in making sure that our teachers earn as much money as possible. Miss Rink, she probably has her own personal Donors Choose page. She's raised $6,000 already. And I think that's probably around 10 grants that she's already won just this year alone. We have our bus grant, our Museum of Tolerance grant, our Barona grant. So Miss Vildeville and Miss Lopez actually won the Barona grant this year. We're super proud of them. We have our environmental studies Donor Choose grant and our science classroom grant. So already we're at $12,000 and it's just November. So we are hoping to really make some history this year as far as the amount of money that we're raising for our students. We also raised $31,000 in our Jogathon this year, and that's our PTA sponsored event. And kudos to Mr. Curtis and our PTA and all of our ASB members making it a super fun day. It was amazing. It was water slides and everything else, and we raised $31,000. So we did phenomenal. Community service, we're really making sure that our students understand the power of community service through our care packages. We participated in our family engagement parent night at Lindo Park, our haunted house and trunk or treat, and then our Spirit of Christmas. We will be making holiday cards and really doing a lot with multicultural awareness. We'll be having a multicultural fair at the end of January, and we're going to start the work at the Spirit of Christmas, showing all the different types of ways that our students and our culture celebrate Christmas around the world. So thank you for listening. We really appreciate you. And I have to say, I will miss all three of you guys. Thank you so much for supporting TDS all the time. And we really appreciate you. And please don't be strangers and continue to visit our site. Are there any questions? No? Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Good work.
Uh-oh.
Especially since you can't speak.
I know. Forgive me, everyone. I've lost my voice, so I'm going to do the best I can. Hopefully everyone we have people in Zoom can hear me. I just wanted to thank a few people. I've been on the board for 16 years, and it's been amazing all 16 years. And I want to thank a few people that motivated me to run the very first time 16 years ago. His name was Harold Hilliker. He was my mentor. I was sitting on Lakeside PT or Lindo Parks PTA at the time, and he was a board member, and he would come to a lot of the PTA meetings, not just Lindo Parks, but Lemoncrest. And he would spend time with me, and he really motivated me to and encouraged me to run for school board. And it was something that I had never thought of and didn't think that it was something that I could do. But with his encouragement, I ran and I was able to get elected. And here we are 16 years later. During those 16 years, I've built wonderful relationships with a lot of people. Twyla and Gila served on the board with me and were great mentors and really helped me. So for me, my father could not read or write, and becoming a lifelong learner was always a passion. My brother had learning disabilities, so school was a safe haven for me and my brother growing up. So it seemed as a perfect fit. I wanted to do something to give back to the community that blessed me and took care of me, and amazing teachers throughout my lifetime here in Lakeside. My sons and my granddaughter now goes to Winter Gardens, and I have a new grandson on the way, and hopefully he'll be going to Lakeside Schools. So for me, it's been an amazing journey. Um, I won't be on the board, but I'm on the chamber, I'm on Lindo Parks PTA. You'll see me in the community still, and I'll still be coming in and sitting in the audience to listen to everything that's going on with education here in Lakeside. So again, everyone's been wonderful. I want to thank Rhonda and Lisa, been my partner right here for most of the time. I've been clerk. I've always liked the clerk job. I've never liked the president job. I'm more of a behind the scenes lady, roll up your sleeves and get the job done. So again, I just thank you. I want to thank everyone that sent me texts, called me, sent me wonderful emails. It was very appreciative, and it really took the sting out of not winning. So again, I really thank you, and you all know me, and you'll still see me around. Thank you very much.
Okay. Trustee Ferrante?
I would like to say thank you to all the people who've supported me during my time on the board, especially Lisa, who helps us all the time. I've been honored to serve the students and the staff of this district for the 5 years I've been on the board. I'm proud of the things the district has accomplished during my time on the board. A big thank you to Bonnie and Don for their leadership and their dedication to this district. I was able to go to several awesome events this month throughout the district at most of the schools. Moreover, I encourage the new board members to attend as many school events as they possibly can so that you can see all the amazing things that are going on in our district and to help you make informed decisions. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Wiseman?
Let me do my video so people want to see my beautiful face. First of all, I would like to thank all the other board members who appointed me a year and a half ago to be on the board. I was retired from education after 40 years, so I was honored to come back. I taught science here for 20 years and was a vice principal at TDS for 3 years. So my heart, great things are going on at TDS. I'm so proud of you guys. You're doing great stuff. So woo woo. Okay. And I'm really proud of the direction of the district I've been on the last 4 years. Under your leadership, Rhonda and Natalie and Lisa, you guys are headed in the right direction. You're closing, you heard today, TDS, they're closing the achievement gap, and they're engaging kids in meaningful learning, design thinking, and STEAM, which I was a STEAM principal, which is I'm all about. So I'm all overjoyed to hear all the wonderful things that are going on for kids. And so I also want to thank Lisa for all her support. New board members, Lisa's going to help you get through and learn all the tricks of the trade and tell you and make sure that you're up to speed on everything. So I so appreciate her support. I want to congratulate, I know a couple of the new board members are here, and Andrew, congratulations on your election to the board. And I just hope you continue the board goals. I think they're noble goals that we've set as the board members, that you keep those goals and keep the signature programs that we have going, that it really engage kids, like support for the science, the arts, and the language immersion. 8 out of 10 of the jobs in the next 20 years are going to be STEAM or STEM related. And I've always been an advocate for that. So I hope the pathways, hearing the pathways for kids where they have choices is so important, because it opens doors for them. And this last 4 days, I wasn't here to hear the election results. Friends kind of were texting me and saying, it doesn't look good, Don. I said, well, and I was in UKIPA as a science consultant. They hired me as a science consultant to help elementary teachers implement their science program, which is a hands-on, minds-on program. And it was so fun. So what buffered the loss for me was I was with kids, which I'd been for 40 years. And those of you who know me know how I feel about kids in science. And the little boy in a 4th grade class who had muscular dystrophy in a wheelchair, they had to light a light bulb. They were given 2 wires, a battery, and a bulb. And he was, with the help of his aide, because he couldn't manipulate it, and I saw his face light up, and he raised his hand, and I almost cried, because I thought that's what kids need to be inspired by in science. And that's what I'm about. And that's why I wanted to serve on the board and give back to the community. So thank you so much to anybody that supported my candidacy. I really appreciate it. And I'm still going to be an advocate for kids and for STEAM in Lakeside, because we've got with Dave and all the other support of other people, we've got a great science program going on here. Lakeside has always been a leader in science in the 24 years I was here. And I want that legacy to continue. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, Trustee Wisman. Trustee Hofer Moyer.
It's been a very busy month. So I attended all the Halloween carnivals and fall festivals that we had at the district. It was fun volunteering and seeing all the kids run around. I got to enjoy the Historical Society presentation on our schoolhouses that Andrew gave. It was very insightful and really good to see the pictures and the history of everything going on. My big one this month is I attended the National FFA convention in Indianapolis. So I got to meet with a lot of other chapters, middle school chapters and high school chapters, and talk about our ag program here and how we have the different possibilities across the nation here. So that was really fun to get to participate in something like that and grow our chapter here through that. We had our first technology committee meeting yesterday, which I'm looking forward to sitting on. And then I helped out last night after that, setting up at Lindo Park for their TK Candyland transformation that the kids all got to participate in this morning. And I saw videos tonight of them walking in and seeing this whole classroom turned into Candyland, and it was just a joy. So that's been my month.
Thank you so much. I too had the chance to attend numerous of our fall festivals. It was a lot of fun to go out and see all the exciting fall activities. It's actually finally starting to feel like fall outside, which it's nice to have that happen. And then I want to just close with thanking all of my colleagues for their decades of service to the district. And now I will move on to our public comment. And before we do that, I do see Carrie Strong is in the audience. Carrie, if you'd like to say something, we'll call you in. Let's bring her in. Well, but she has another engagement, so I was hopeful that she could say something now, if she'd like.
Hello. Thank you, Andrew. Hi, I am coming to all of you from my car. I'm sitting in one of my second favorite places besides school is at a theater right now. My children are in there. It's their opening night for musical theater. And
oh, hey,
so I had to be
Carrie,
here.
could you hold on one moment? Could you hold on one moment? We are not hearing you here in the boardroom.
Oh no.
Hold on one second. Well, we can hear you on our stuff, but in the boardroom, the audience can't hear you. So one second.
Okay.
1 second. Go ahead, Carrie. Let's see.
How's this now?
Great.
Better? Great. Okay. I was just explaining to you that my beautiful mood lighting here is from the inside of my truck because I'm at my second favorite place outside of a theater. It's my children's opening night with your good man, Charlie Brown. And so I had to be mom and here and at the same place. So thank you, Andrew, for bringing me in to be able to talk really quick to everybody. Side note, we have an amazing TDS student who is the star of the show as Charlie Brown. So we're super proud of Neil. All right. So I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge our incredible board members tonight who are finishing out their term. Bonnie, you've served our students with love and joy, first through your involvement in PTA and then for 16 years as a board member. You've led through some really hard times and excellent times. And I really value all of your institutional knowledge gained through all of your experience with our Lakeside schools over the years and the community groups. And you bring that and your passion to the serving students into everything that you do on our school board. And that shows up in how you interact with everybody and, you know, in your votes. And all the teachers, we thank you for all that you've done and all that we know you're going to continue to do in our community. Like you said, we will see you around. So thank you. Holly, we also want to thank you for taking up important causes like providing students with access to high quality experiences, working on that district vision and board goals, and for your generosity with your time and support spent on campuses and at all of our school events, and just for being willing to listen to all sides of situations before coming to conclusions, and for putting your students first and foremost in all of your decisions, whether it's the easiest thing for adults or not. Putting students first in your choices is definitely something we see in your leadership. And Dawn, it's like you said, it's only been a short time since you joined the LUSD community on the school board, but your long history with our school district, it kind of just seems like you've been here forever. It made a natural stepping stone into your role on the school board. You were able to hit the ground running and really start supporting the students of Lakeside just immediately as soon as you were appointed in. We do wish you'd been able to lend all of your talents for reinvigorating, reimagining, and opening new schools into Lakeside as a school board member for another term. But it is what it is. And we are going to take all of the knowledge and joy that you've brought to our programs over the years as a school board member and as a previous educator in the district. And we're going to carry those on in the work that we continue to do. And then I wanted to say to our returning board members, Andrew and Laura, I really look forward to carrying on our district's good reputation for collaborative and open communication between the leaders and staff. If there's one thing that I always hear when I'm at other meetings with other presidents is like, geez, you talk with your school board members really well. And I'm like, well, yeah, it takes effort, right? On both of our parts and trust on both of our parts. And I guess I should be clear, like it definitely doesn't mean because I hear it from my other leaders, like, oh, you just do what the school board says. And then I'm sure the other flip side to that conversation is, oh, the school board does what the union said. But what I see this as is it's not about that. We talk about doing things the Lakeside way. And the way I see that is we have open door policy. You've got the door as a table, right? On the back of this boardroom, it was taken off of the superintendent's door as a symbolic message that our doors are open for communication. And so what this means in our school board history, right, is that we're talking to people to see you're talking to people who work in the classrooms with the kids, and then you get to see exactly how your votes made in the boardroom impact our students. And that means that you care to hear about the successes and the areas of needs. And I just want you both to know that I'm very committed to continuing that forward. And I know that when we have the adults who make the decisions, and then the people who bring these ideas to life in our classrooms working together, we've got a recipe for our students having a successful school experience. So I just want to thank you for setting that up in the last, my last 2 years as president, and I look forward to continuing that on in the future. I also want to put in a plug for Spirit of Christmas. Swing by the LTA booth and say hello. We will be out there spreading our Christmas holiday cheer and not being too grinchy, because I hear that is kind of the unofficial theme this year. So that's what I wanted to say tonight. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Carrie. Okay, we're going to move to public comment. Lisa, do you have anybody to speak?
Heather Bush.
Okay.
Thank you. I am Heather. Most of you know me. I'm Heather Bush. I teach at Lakeside Middle School. I'm a longtime also parent in our district, PTA, blah, 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 all of that good stuff. And all of you know that. And I just wanted to come here to say tonight that I consider you my family, my 3 board members who are leaving us. I feel like we've been a family, and I also consider that going forward. I echo what Carrie was very eloquently spoke, that I don't do that very well, but Carrie does that very well. And I echo a lot of what Carrie said about the relationships that we have in this district. And I do look forward to continuing that. I did want to just point out a few things. One, Don, you were my teacher way back in the day, so he really has been here a long time. And I really appreciate everything you've done since then. I think it was like when you were brand new. And so that love of science was evident even way back then. So I love that. And Bonnie, of course, we've worked
numerous things together over years and years and with PTA. So, because that's my history. So I appreciate everything that you do, and you always do it with the heart for our students. And that is something to be very proud of. And I love that about you. Polly and I also have history, which is unique and unusual, but I just wanted to point out of all of the experiences I've had over the time. Many of you know that my mother was a board member long ago. So I've been around for a while to watch things progress, and it's always a little scary moving forward or moving away from things. But I think that as long as what Carrie said, as long as that communication, that door remains open, that we can do anything, and we can do it for our students, because that's why we're all here. Holly came into my classroom recently, and I just wanted to mention it because you didn't mention that you came to my classroom. My kids had written personal narratives. I teach 6th and 7th grade. And so they had spent a lot of time, and we were having a celebration and a gallery walk that showed off all of their personal narratives, and they got to read each other's stories and comment and give glow notes. And we did a glow in the dark theme, and it was fun. But it was also an experience for them. Well, Holly came in just to check it out. No problem. She sat down for like an hour and wrote notes on those kids' papers and told them how wonderful they were. And these kids then got to read from another adult who was invested in their story. And I was so blown away by that. So I just wanted to just thank you for that personally and publicly for doing that. And any one of you, please, you're welcome anytime in my classroom. I would love to have you as a guest or as a speaker or as just an observer. I am happy to have you and host you anytime, because those kids loved that. So thank you again for your service. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Any others, Lisa?
We have Twyla God.
Okay.
Members of the board, superintendent. Feel a little awkward on this side of the podium. This used to be sitting over here. But I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank our 3 retiring board members for their service. I have known all 3 of them for a long time. Don taught all 3 of my kids. He had moved on to administration when my grandkids came through TDS, but has always been there for the kids. I remember being in his classroom a lot, with my kids too, and has always been dedicated to his son. He met his wife at TDS, and his son went to school here and is now a teacher. And so I thank you for your service, and I know that this is not the end. Holly, I've known since she was a 20-something when she umpired Bobby Sox with my husband, and my kids were playing, and we've been friends for years. And I know that she's always been active with PTA, council president, and has been part of the community and cares for kids. Bonnie, we've served together on the board for many years, and have known her through PTA for many years, and know that all 3 of you are committed members of the community who care about kids. And I know when, as a charge to the next board, I just want to say, when I served, our motto was any decision we made was, what is this good for kids? That was the one and only consideration. Is this good for kids? And I just hope that the future board will take that for what it's worth and make decisions that way, because we are a community. Like Carrie said earlier, we do things the Lakeside way. It's been our motto for years. And so I just hope that that continues, and that I know that you will continue to serve in this community. You'll be here and volunteering in whatever ways you can, and still supporting kids. And I thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Any other? That's all? Okay, thank you.
We'll now
2021 and 2022. Do we have any speakers, Lisa? Okay. I will close the public hearing and I will request a motion for adoption of resolution number 2023-09 to adopt the findings contained in the 5-year development report. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now we need to designate all of the items to the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to designate the items to the consent agenda?
I'll move move them to the consent agenda.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any items that anyone would like to pull?
I'd like to pull 4.7.
Okay, I'd like to pull 5.2. Any others? Okay. All right. Now can I have a motion to adopt all of the items of the consent agenda? Oh,
Don's piece of paper, but.
what are we looking for?
4.7 is the guess.
4.7 is the gifts.
Wanted to-
Well, hold on one second though. Before we go to that, we need to approve everything but those two items. So can I have a motion to approve all of those items but 4.7 and 5.2?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. 4.7, done.
Yeah, I just wanted to acknowledge and thank you for all the continued support from all the organizations that support our kids in the school. Bonnie was just telling me that, how much did Verona give? $5,000. And so that's wonderful. The Lakeside Women's Club donated here. Bonnie donated books herself, so I appreciate that. PTA, Riverview got 5,000.
Do I have a motion to approve 4.7?
I move to approve it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. 5.2 is our adoption for our middle school science curriculum. I just wanted to pull that and just make a comment and thank all the teachers for their work on that adoption. And Dave Tupper, I think, is he still here, Dave? There he is. So I wanted to thank Mr. Tupper for his leadership too on that process. So we're excited about it and looking forward to seeing the kids learning with it. So is there a motion to approve? Or any comments? I'm sorry.
I also want to say, thank Dave for all his leadership in science throughout the years, not only on this adoption, but previously with all the grants that the district has gotten in science. And so, and of which I've been a part of some of them in my past life as a science teacher. But it's really cool that we've got curriculum now for all the kids in science now. We're anxious to get new curriculum in social studies and continue our kids having great hands-on, minds-on science programs. So I just wanted to say that too. And this program does that. And plus has the whole open science is a lot of technology involved. So it's a great program. I'm glad that we're getting to adopt materials for the middle school kids too, also. And how it ties in with ELA, it really supports English language arts. Okay, I move to,
Hang on a second.
Are you gonna
say something, except I can't keep myself unmuted. There we go.
You are unmuted.
I also want to thank Dave for all his hard work for a long time, many years of hard work. Thanks, Dave.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, informational items, our enrollment report for month 2. Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to our discussion items for the first reading of the board policy, district and school websites. Comments? Okay. First reading of board policy and AR 3523 electronic signatures. Anything? Comments, questions? Okay. Board policy and administrative regulation 5111 admission. Any comments? Okay. First reading of board policy 7110 facilities master plan. Nothing. Okay. And first reading of board policy in AR 6158 independent study. Any questions? Okay, those will come back. Moving on, reports to the board. We already heard from Carrie. I believe Dave is not joining us this evening. Is that correct? Okay, so we'll move on to Lisa Davis for a business and operation update.
There we go. I sit on the Business Services Council for ACTA, and so we'll meet about 3 times a year, either up in Sacramento or here during the Zoom. Guest speakers come in and talk with us. So just some updates on what's happening up at the state. The governor did veto the bills requiring the kindergarten and full day kindergarten. And the message is that he is all in for TK right now. And until that's fully implemented, he's just not of a mindset to move forward and fund any other, K programs at this point in time. He knows he'll still probably get some push to fund the K and the full day K, but he's just very committed to the TK program and wants to see that successful. So until that's fully implemented, he'll probably still oppose that. Statewide, the negotiations going across statewide with I thought this would be interesting for our district to hear that the settlements are coming in with bargaining units, and they're coming in between 7 and 12%. So still somewhat early, but that's kind of the trend that's happening right now. They're seeing. They were saying that some places were asking, upwards of 23%, but most districts that have settled at this point in time that have been reporting are between 7 and 12%. The SB 490, the Buy American Food Act, was passed. So, and I'm just commenting on this because it prohibits districts from purchasing from non-American companies and can only buy anything that is non-American if the bid is less than 25%. So it goes into effect in 2024. And what they've asked us to really watch for is when it does go into effect is to watch for any kind of price gouging, and they really want to hear back from districts once that gets implemented to see the impact of that bill. So we'll definitely be working with food services when it does go in and see how that all plays out. And then just at this point in time, the indicators, we had a person from the LAO talk to us, and the indicators are showing that the state revenues are expected to slow down and to not show any significant growth. So just everybody's really watching that. It'll be interesting. I'm going to go to the governor's January workshop, budget workshop, and everybody's, highly anticipating that January budget from the governor to see what his proposal is for next year and where the COLA might land on. I'm hearing some kind of crazy numbers again, but I'm not going to say what I'm hearing at this point in time, but it's a little wild. And so we'll see what he says in January. It'll be interesting. And on the business office side, first interim will be coming on the December board meeting. And I'm super, super happy to report out that if you recall that grant that we had applied for the EPA buses, the electric buses. So we were only one of 2 school districts in San Diego County to receive this grant, us and Warner. Warner applied for 1 bus and they got 1 bus. We applied for 23 and we got 14. So it's $4,990,000 that we can purchase up to 14 buses. That does include almost $300,000 in infrastructure that will be needed to put in the charging stations and stuff. We're already working with SDG&E on the grant that they have for the infrastructure that then links from the district's property to the SDG&E infrastructure. So that was phenomenal. I had a lot of my peers from other districts, because pretty much almost all San Diego County districts applied for this grant. And what did you do? What did you put in that grant that you got it? Fuck me. I don't know. So that's awesome. So we'll start working on the program. I'm working with Todd Owens right now. It'll probably be between it, for it all to be all implemented in place. It'll more than likely take us about 2 years to get it all in place and the buses ordered, received, and all of that great stuff. So there's good news for this community, and we can start hopefully hiring bus drivers and then getting some transportation for the students of Lakeside. So that's great. Our HVAC system, it's moving along. The company will be starting on Lakeside Farms. The anticipation is next week on 11/21. They'll be starting on Lakeside Farms for the first of the solar. And then the roofing, and we're about halfway done with the roofing and some of the HVAC. So it's rolling along. Hopefully by this summer we'll have the majority of that HVAC stuff done, and a good part of the solar. That project's moving on. ESS sent a survey out to parents asking their needs for winter break, and overwhelmingly Jared said that they got a very large response back, and lots of needs, and so they'll be open the whole time during winter break. And let's see. CNS, they've ordered a new box truck. I guess there's 2 of them. One's fairly new, the other one just died. So we've ordered a new box truck, which is great. And then the director is exploring, Christy is exploring a new marketing platform to really get the word out of the CNS program. And hopefully that'll help boost the meal counts and free and reduced applications and all of that stuff. So, and then tech, we're just working on documents right now to get their new building going. Hopefully that'll all the documentation and the bidding done by January. Start with breaking ground and getting the grading and all that. So that's it from the business and all the other departments. Thank you.
Okay, so I just have some quick updates this evening. First, our family night that we held in October at Lindo Park was very, very successful. We had a lot of families that came. We were able to connect them with a variety of different resources in the community, or at least answer some questions. Miss Rink was there with a team from TDS doing their community service. And we had over 100 families that came that night. So it was very, very successful. Trimester 1 ends today. So report cards will be coming out on December 2nd after we return from the Thanksgiving break. So we've got some time next week for teachers to finalize their grades, get them entered. When we return from break, our principals will have an opportunity to look at those report cards before they go out on December 2nd. Our technology committee had their first meeting on Tuesday of this week. The committee is grappling with K-5 student devices and teacher devices for our next technology refresh. So we're trying to make decisions about the future of technology devices in Lakeside when we're ready to refresh the ones that we currently have. In the first meeting, we started to discuss student devices and we evaluated pros and cons of iPads versus Chromebooks. Our committee members will be going out to get input from site level folks to bring back to our next meeting, where we hope to finalize recommendations for student devices, and then we will tackle staff devices. And then our History Social Science Adoption Committee also had its first meeting on November 2nd. The meeting, in the meeting, we co-constructed a vision for history, social studies materials, and instruction in Lakeside. The vision that was created by this team was then communicated out to all of LUSD staff for feedback. In our next meeting on November 16th, we will review that feedback from the field and finalize our vision statement. And then in grade level bands, the committee will create a tool for evaluating potential programs. In the third meeting in December, the team is going to use the vision and the criteria that we developed to select 2 programs for piloting in LUSD. And then following our work in December, we will shift to the actual piloting process. And the committee will continue to be instrumental in evaluating the feedback from students and teachers who were part of the pilot process. And then once all that is wrapped up, we will bring recommendations to the board.
Thank you. All right, Dr. Rhonda Taylor, closing comments.
I have a few things I want to share. I'm going to attempt to share my screen and I'm going to hope it's going to go super well because that's what we do. And I go up here, go here. Wanted to give a shout out to 2 of our principals. We're always talking about our principals as being instructional leaders. And so I visit sites a lot. And so they're not together. I just put the pictures side by side. But in one classroom, I was able to go in and see the new math program that they're working on with, it's a new instructional way of teaching that they're working on at Lakeview in a couple of their math classes. And it was really fun to watch these kids really investigating math and talking to each other. And they were in pairs and just watching the wheels spin in their brain as they're going, oh yeah, this is the same as that. And so they were sorting cards and they had figured this out by them, you know, with just a small direction. And I think that the meaning that they made doing that was so valuable and it really clicked with them. And things like, you know, this fraction belongs to this decimal. And those are things that just stumped me as a kid. I could not see the connection between fractions and decimals. And they had it down because they were figuring it out. And then how would you find that same number on a number line? And so, and then what would that look like if it was represented by a monetary symbol, you know? And so it was just all these different ways and they were doing the math and getting it. And it was just really fun to watch. But I'm shouting out Mr. Tiger because he was right in there with those kids and just working with them and, you know, making sure that they had that understanding and that meaning. At Lakeside Farms, I was able to go and work with their wind time and watch them in action as they're doing that. The teachers are very, very complimentary towards that time. And that's where they kind of adjust their groups so that they can pull a smaller group of students and work really focused on, based on assessments, what those students need. And so, and to make those groups even smaller, it's all hands on deck. And so Mr. Rosa takes a group into the multi-purpose room. And so he's teaching a math lesson to those kids that need that support in the multi-purpose room, which then lowers the numbers in the classrooms for all of the teachers. So I was just like really appreciative that they're in there, their sleeves are rolled up and everybody is focused on doing everything we can for our students to get them caught up. Had a reporter reach out to me. And so he heard about our book vending machine and he asked, could he come and do a story? So you guys were there when we did this. So hopefully this will play. Oh, everything's coming up, Rhonda, today. I don't, can we make it bigger? I hope it's going to come up, Rhonda. I should have spoke too soon. Come on. I got it right there. Well, he's talking.
Doesn't give out snacks. It dispenses brain food.
I really love books.
Fifth grader Juliet Camacho was one of the first students to earn a special gold token for a free book. The self-described bookworm, Juliet says the reward is a major motivator for her and her friends.
Yeah, I've talked about it constantly, like towards the end of the month, towards when the teacher would start giving out the tokens.
By the end of the year, every kid will have earned one of these golden tokens for going above and beyond with their behavior. And then they get a book that's theirs to keep forever.
It's not just something that's handed to them or a gold star on the paper. It's a prize, and it's a prize that they get to pick themselves.
The school's Parent-Teacher-Student Association bought the machine, using about $9,000 left from fundraisers over the last 2 years. Parent Alex Cabrera showed me how they pick brand new books to keep in stock.
We have a lot of chapter books down here.
Because the school is a triple immersion campus, they have titles in English, Spanish, and Mandarin.
We wanted pieces of the different languages to be actually on the outside and in the inside, and we feel like that's a really big important part of our identity.
Teachers say behavior and classwork have improved since a free book became a possible reward, feeding kids' desire for recognition and education.
I thought that was really cool because everyone wants a book.
So the company, there are only about 100 of them in schools across the country so far, but it's been so popular that they now have a months-long waiting list to get a new one. It's so cool to see how excited all of these kids get to get this token and get free books. And really wanted to focus on equity, and that's why there's a rule that every kid by the end of the year will get at least one.
Yeah, I want one of those.
I
want one too. Oh. Okay, so I just wanted to bring that forward because I thought that it's really a fun little piece, and we were there when they unveiled it. So we have one of those machines at Riverview, and we also have one at Lemon Crest Elementary, and the kids are just getting a kick out of it. And it's just a way to share some really, some of these kids have a hard time getting access to books to take home and keep forever, and it's theirs. I remember my Mr. Pine's Mix-Up Sign was my first book that I just read over and over. So I'm so happy we're able to do that. Okay, so now it's my turn to honor our board members that are leaving us. And we have a tradition here in Lakeside that when you have served, you get a piece of the rock if you're leaving. So tonight, each of our board members will be getting a piece of the rock, and this really is a feeling for our employee of our district or your associate with our district to get a piece of the rock, because we are all in support of the rock that is the education and the rock that is our family here in Lakeside that supports our students. So first of all, Bonnie, come get your piece of the rock. And I just want to say to Bonnie started, she was a school board member when I was still a teacher here. So it's been a little while, and then became an administrator and everything. And so just serving on the board with her when I was a school board member, and then also having her support as a superintendent has meant so much for me. So thank you so much. And everybody has said so many wonderful and fabulous things, but I first met Holly when I was the assistant principal at Lakeside Middle School, and she had 2 boys there. So we had a special relationship at that time. Well, I was working with one of her sons. I can't remember which one was kind of struggling in English language arts. Yeah, so we were putting a plan together for Nick, and Nick ends up being very successful because I was brilliant at my work. Right? So, and served on, she was on our PTA, she was our PTA president, and so as the vice principal, I worked really closely with Holly. I loved being a board member with you, and thank you for your support as my superintendent. Thank you. And Mr. Don Wisman is another person I've had a long-standing relationship with. Again, teachers together, when I was just brand new and he was at TDS. And we were administrators together when he was the assistant principal and I was
You
where
were
was I?
principal at Lakeview.
I was
think.
already at Lakeview. So I've been so many, I don't
But
remember.
You might have started out as the vice principal at LMS. but-
Yeah, so it's been great serving with you as a teacher, as administrators, and as I didn't serve with you as a board member because you took my seat, but again, I appreciate your support as a been the
Thank
superintendent.
you so much.
And we'll be welcoming our new members very, very soon and putting out information about that. And we are just
Okay. Anything else? Okay, meeting's adjourned.